What's up, guys? Welcome back to the MA Sports Pod with Michael and Angelo. And today it's just us, but we're going to be going over some fantasy running back rankings for you today on how we see the board might fall in the August drafts.
Yeah, it's exciting. I love fantasy. So, we'll start off with the number one, which is a lot of people's number one, CMC. I mean, puts up numbers. As long as he's not injured, he puts up numbers. And I don't think there's too much to say. He's a great running back for fantasy.
Yeah, and listen, I think CMC will probably be the projected number one on ESPN and all the different websites that you'll be playing fantasy football on. But I mean, I've had this take a bunch on this pod, but I would take Bijan one. So that's just me.
Yeah,
That's my one.
he's young. Hopefully his career pans out and he's going to get a lot of touches. So hopefully he doesn't get injured or anything like that. And he'll be a good fantasy running back.
Great.
And then for my two, I think it's obvious. Saquon Barkley, he's had a fantastic year last year. He's the main point in that offense, and he's going to get a lot of touches and a lot of fancy points for your team. So
Yeah, totally agreed. I also have Saquon at two there. I think, honestly, I'm putting Saquon above McCaffrey on my personal board. I think Saquon has just about the same amount of injury concerns as McCaffrey does, with higher upside than McCaffrey. I know McCaffrey is like,
yeah,
oh, he's so talented, but like, dude, Saquon is more physically gifted than
Saquon in the
McCaffrey.
open field is
Not
scary.
joking, yeah, he's and he's still so young too, dude. People forget he's 26 years old, 27 years old. Like,
Yeah,
bro's still very, very elite.
yeah. For my three, Austin Eckler is really good in the passing game, and that's going to be a high-powered offense this year. I wouldn't be shocked if people are taking him very, very high because he puts up numbers like crazy every year. So I wouldn't be
hmm
shocked.
Yeah, if you want a consistent back, definitely Eckler is a good route for you to take, especially in that three to pick six. If you're like teetering between a wide receiver, Eckler, maybe Justin Jefferson or Eckler, I wouldn't be mad with either one in that range. But for my three, I'm going to go in a different direction. I have Jonathan Taylor here, and I
Mm.
think JT, dude, he was banged up last year, so he didn't get, and he wasn't that great in the games he was healthy for, right? So he's kind of fallen off a lot of people's minds. But you're adding Anthony Richardson to the mix. You're adding Steve Sarkisian to the mix as the new head coach. And, bro, what he did with Jalen Hurts last year and that offense and the way he utilized Miles Sanders, like, I don't think anyone
Yeah.
thought of Miles Sanders as top back, but he was putting up top 5, top 10 fantasy running back numbers. Now you're giving him JT. Like, and with the Anthony Richardson dynamic of you have read options, like a lot of fakes, and dude, I think the offense is going to be wide open for Jonathan Taylor this year, and
I
so
think
I think he can even finish one, but I have him at three here.
I think Jonathan Taylor definitely has a better season than last year. I don't know if he's gonna do that well, but we'll see. We'll see. Because for my four, I have Derrick Henry. I think he's still that guy in Tennessee, and he's gonna get a lot of touches. And I think he's just gonna have a good year for
Okay,
fantasy.
that's fair. I feel like the past couple of years though he's been getting more and more injured, and he stayed really healthy the first like 5, 6 years of his career. That was the thing about him is
Still
he
had
just
a lot of
stood healthy
touchdowns
all the time.
last year.
But yeah, he's just getting like all these touches over and over again. I'm a little worried that it's gonna get to him this year as it got to him last year a little bit.
Hopefully not.
So I don't have Henry in my top five, but yeah, I mean if he's healthy, dude, like he's the guy. He's a workhorse.
Yeah.
I have Eckler and CMC running at my 4 and 5, so that's just me. But did you do your five yet?
Oh, for my five, it's interchangeable, but I have ETN and Jacobs. But I'm leaning more towards ETN. ETN is Jacksonville's a very high-powered offense, and I would actually put ETN in my five and Jacobs as an honorable mention. But yeah, ETN is gonna have a really good year. That offense in Jacksonville is looking way better than last year, and they did pretty good last year towards the end of the season. So I'm excited to see what ETN puts up in fantasy.
Yeah, I like ETN a lot. He's right there for me in that range. I think, dude, yeah, like you said, you kind of hit on it. Their offense is high powered this year. I think Lawrence takes another step up. ETN can be just as dynamic in the passing game, and he's so explosive off the line. I hope he's healthy, and that's kind of the big thing with all these running backs is you just hope they stay healthy. But ETN is an incredible talent, and he's also definitely on the younger side as opposed to these other backs. Another mention I want to throw out there, we haven't talked about him yet, but what about Tony Pollard? I think, dude, offense is all his now.
Yeah, we can go into like sleepers that we think, but Tony Pollard has definitely been slept on, I feel like, and he's gonna be until people start like noticing the numbers he put up last year, sharing the ball with Zeke, and Zeke, I mean, that makes all the difference. Tony Pollard's gonna be the running back one, and he's gonna put up good numbers for whoever has him. I'm excited to see what he puts up in fantasy. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm a little worried that he might, just because he's like the one guy there now, he might just get a lot of load taken off him with their other backs, Deuce Vaughn coming in just because that's what the Cowboys are used to doing.
Yeah.
And, but I don't know.
He's still a playmaker.
Yeah, he's still very good. And I think that's kind of a stretch and a grasp at a straw to not have to say without having any information. It's just like my inner thoughts. But like, yeah, all the signs point to him being like a lot of touches a game guy there. And since he's getting all those touches, or most likely going to be getting all those touches, he should have the production value to go with it.
Yeah, I think he's a great back to have in fantasy, especially if he falls to you in a later, maybe the second round. Because maybe he's a second round guy, but I'd be happy with that if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how the boards are falling. I haven't really hopped into any mock draft, but I feel like just from what I'm thinking, I think him in the third would probably be solid value.
Third? You think he falls to the third?
Yeah, because you got like the guys that we've been mentioning. We've brought up like 5, 6, 7 guys before him. And then you also got these wide receivers, these top 5 wide receivers that are going to go. So I just think he's like borderline late second, early third.
I would be happy to take him in the second or third. But let's see how it goes out. There's could be other guys. And speaking of another guy who I think is going to he got a lot of touches when he was on the field last year with the Commanders. I'm talking about Brian Robinson Jr. He was young last year. I think he gets a lot of touches. He just needs to maximize on them, and he's getting better this year. So I'm excited to see what he does, and I think he's gonna put up decent numbers in fantasy.
Now, did you see the report that they want to have Antonio Gibson as like the workhorse again this year?
Really?
Yeah,
last year they didn't.
But it's funny because every single year it's the same exact thing. I've seen that every single year and it never happens. So I don't trust it.
Yeah, but I still think Brian Robinson Jr. is a sleeper, and I think he does get a lot of touches because they had Antonio Gibson. I think last year he had some good games, and they still just gave the ball to Brian Robinson Jr.
They hate him, man. I don't understand it, but
yeah, I don't know. It must be maybe a locker room thing. I don't know, but.
Yeah, I haven't thought too much about Brian Robinson. I don't hate it as a late round pick. Like if you do a no running back strategy and you go receiver, like if you just stack up on the wideouts and you're looking for a second running back, I don't hate Brian.
Yeah,
Robinson.
I think he's a sleeper.
I wouldn't take him as your RB1 though.
No, definitely not. But
yeah.
No.
My big sleeper stamp that I'm putting on someone this year is Ramondre Stevenson. I think he's going to get fed. And he knows how to he runs similar to the style of Derrick Henry, so he just knows how to pound, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You worry about fumbles a little bit, but I feel like with Belichick, he can straighten that up. He's a fundamentals guy. But, dude, he's just going to get the touches. And in fantasy, when the touches are there, usually so is the production. I mean, maybe the outlier case here is like Frank Gore in the later years of his career, but that's he was 39.
Yeah,
So
I think he does get a
Ramondre
lot of
may get
touches.
those touches. He's young and he's also got some. He's got some burst. He's got a lot of power. So I like him, especially down in the goal line. A lot of touchdowns, a lot of touches. I think he's a good sleeper RB2, maybe even flex option.
Yeah, I agree. And we talked about ETN being in a high-powered offense. I think DeAndre Swift is also a little bit of a sleeper in fantasy
Mm,
because he's in a very high-powered offense. And you said it, Miles Sanders last year had great numbers, and I think DeAndre Swift is gonna have those great numbers this year as well.
oh my god, dude, that's a great one. I didn't even think of him, and it's just the Lions didn't use him, and it's like,
No,
what's going on? Did the Lions hate Swift because
yeah, the
he's
Lions did
so
not like
much
him.
better than Jamal Williams?
They
Is he
did not
not?
like him. Yeah, I think he's way better. He's way better in the passing game, and I think he's gonna be a really good complement to Hurts with all the checkdowns and all of that. I really like this pickup.
Dude, Swift is a dog. That's like, I think he's honestly top 7, top 10. He's right in that range. He should be an RB1 if he's started and used properly. He's that talented, bro. And he hasn't really been used, so he's still very fresh because they barely used him.
Yeah, I like him. I like him as a pick coming up this year.
What about Kenneth Walker? How do you feel about Kenneth Walker?
I like Kenneth Walker. Geno Smith is coming off a great year. Seattle Seahawks, their playoff run. I think he had great numbers last year, but even in the beginning of the year, he didn't even get like all the touches. It was Rashad Penny until he got hurt.
He was hurt.
Yeah, so now
No, Walker was hurt.
Walker was hurt and Rashad Penny
He
was
didn't. He didn't come in until like week 7. He didn't start, and that's when he started blowing up.
Walker.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. He came in later and he still had really good numbers, and
yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
think um I think Kenneth Walker is a good back. I don't know if I take him as my running back 1, maybe my RB2.
Yeah, I think I would have, but they drafted Charbonnet, the UCLA kid, and
He might share touches.
I think he shares touches. I think he shares some touches. I think it's probably at best a 65-45 or 65-35 split. But yeah, he's still a really good pickup if you're doing a no running back strategy, and I wouldn't mind him as the RB1. But if you're just like playing normal fantasy, doing a one running back in the first 2 rounds, or even stacking up on running backs, he's definitely, I wouldn't put him at 1. I would say RB2, high end 2 to middle 2.
Yeah. What
And,
about? Oh, sorry.
oh, all right, yeah. So I was just gonna say, staying on the same like wavelength as Walker, another second year guy here. Brees Hall, what do we think about him?
I think Brees Hall he's coming off an ACL injury, right?
Yes, and
That yeah, that could be as a fantasy as someone drafting, I would be a little concerned to pick him up because those after you have an injury like that, you could have a little like a shaky year after. But hopefully, if he does stay healthy and everything goes well, that's another high-powered offense, man.
yeah,
He's gonna get a lot of points if he stays healthy. But is that the risk you're willing to take? I don't know. Me
yeah.
personally,
I
I don't know.
I
It's
agree with you, and it's usually the running backs, especially. They're not back to what they were, at least looking like they're back to what they were until the second year off of an ACL injury. I mean, you saw with AP when he got that ACL injury, but then the second year back, he won the MVP, and he almost broke the single season rushing yards record.
yeah,
So, I mean, I don't know, especially since it's so fresh. Like, that was week 7, dude. Is he even gonna play week 1, 2, or 3? He might be out the first month of the season. You just can't rank him high if someone's out the first month of the season. It's so hard. He probably ends up going like 4th round just because it's hard to trust. But he has the talent to be a running back 1. It's just hard to trust right now in his career.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think about Isaiah Pacheco out of Kansas City?
Oh, did they take a running back?
I don't think so, but
So if they didn't take a running back, I like Isaiah Pacheco as a flex option.
yeah,
I I don't think I'd take him before round like 7, honestly.
he's a good red zone threat. I think
Yes, yeah.
if you need a flex or a running back late and you still need to fill in some gaps, I think you take him. But he could explode this year, to be honest, and that I wouldn't be too surprised about because Kansas City, another high powered team, especially
Mhm.
offensively. So
Yeah, and I would I mean moving off of Isaiah Pacheco, but I would really like Dalvin Cook if he's on the Dolphins for fantasy. I
yeah,
think that is like I really like that fit. If he's on the Jets, I like that fit too. But you have to think about Hall. You have to think about Michael Carter. Like they have other guys there, so it's just he wouldn't be ranked as high on the Jets as he would with the Dolphins, and that's just because of the amount of time he'll get with.
I mean the Dolphins also do have Raheem Mostert, which
Yeah, but
that
Brees
offense
also
is so fast.
is yeah.
But we'll see where Dalvin Cook lands. Dalvin Cook did very good for me last year, and I wouldn't be surprised if he had another good year at wherever he lands. So,
And another guy coming off ACL here, Javonte Williams. What do we think about Javonte Williams?
I don't know. I think it's too early to tell right now. I
I yeah, I loved Javonte last year. I took him in almost every league, so when he got an ACL, that was crushing. But again, it's like it's the ACL thing. It's hard to trust, but he's so freaking talented, man. I don't know. I might be picking him. I might fall into the Saquon treatment with Javonte Williams, where when Saquon was getting his ACL injuries, his hamstring, his ankle, I would just take him year after year after year, and I would fall into the same trap, and he would get
yeah
injured. But I just kept believing in him. So I feel like I'm shifting that way with Javonte Williams, but I don't know. I hope he stays healthy, man.
yeah definitely. Do you have any other sleepers? Think of?
I think that's the main guys I really like for this year.
Yeah, I feel like more names will pop in our head as we get closer to drafting.
hmm
But
We'll
yeah,
go over. We'll make like an official board when
yeah,
we're close
closer to
to the
drafting, we'll make
draft
a
time. Yeah,
yeah.
it's just a rundown of what we're seeing so far, what we think of it.
All right. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for watching. And we'll see you guys next time. See ya.